Hi, welcome to the Long Beach State Analytics YouTube channel. My name is Alonso and I will be your tutorial administrator for these series of videos that I develop to help you prepare for the SAS Base programming for SAS 9 certification exam. If you stumbled across this video, you're either currently taking the course or you are enrolled in statistics, data analysis, and or research methods at Cal State Long Beach, or simply you just decided to search because you are interested in finding out more information about SAS and its process to take the certification exam. I also created these videos with the assumption that you have access to the SAS software, either version 9.3 and or 9.4. If not, to take the certification exam, that's okay. You don't need it. However, I do recommend having the software readily accessible to you because I do recommend programming at least 1 to 2 hours every day up until the day prior of you taking the certification exam to really help you fully prepare and develop your skills, the skills necessary to take the certification exam. Also, I do want to make note, if you do have your SAS software open, if not, go ahead and pause this video and boot it up. SAS does give you preset data to practice, and that's great because you don't have to go ahead and create your own data set, your own raw data, and then go ahead and manipulate that. So I'll show you how to go ahead and access that in your SAS environment. So first you want to just go ahead and move your cursor up to the Help tab. Just left click, drop down your cursor down to the option that says Learning SAS Programming. Go ahead and select that option. And as you can see, your SAS Online Training Sample Data dialog box will pop up. All you have to do is just click OK, download the active libraries, and the whole process will take about a minute. I will just go ahead and opt out of it because I've already done this. So I will just cancel. And just to make sure that it worked, in your environment, if you go to the contents of SAS environment on the left hand side of your screen, you can see that you pulled up the libraries. Double click on the libraries and you have your active libraries. Now inside of each library, I will go ahead and discuss this a little later on and throughout the videos. You can open it up and you have your SAS data sets, which are these icons here, or your SAS data libraries, which would look like this. Now I usually like going to the default of my contents of SAS data environment. So I'm just going to go ahead and left click on the up one level icon. And there you go. Also, the results shown in my videos are not only going to be shown as HTML output, but they will also be shown as listing output because some examples are necessary to show you as listing output, and I'll show you how to change that because by default SAS will only output showing HTML. So first you want to just go to your Tools tab, drop down to the Options tab, go ahead and select Preferences, and you want to go ahead and left click on your Results tab and make sure that both boxes are checked off, and then just left click on OK, and it'll go ahead and change this for you. Now I did forget to mention that these series of videos will be broken down into sections by chapter. Also, for those of you that watch these videos later on, you can go ahead and find my information below each video, my email. Go ahead and email me if you want me to send you practice quizzes to prepare you, or if you just have any other questions or encounter certain problems that we can go ahead and try to troubleshoot. So now let's go ahead and get started, and let me give you a brief description of what SAS is and the process of actually going through the certification exam. So as an introduction, throughout these videos I do want to help you program effectively using SAS and pretty much help you understand the basic concepts of SAS programs, since this is just the base programming videos for the certification exam. And many people have asked me, what are SAS programs? So SAS programs pretty much access, manage, analyze, and present your data. And right off the bat, let's just go ahead and jump right in, and I will show you a simple SAS program and its functions. Now let me note that at any time you can pause these videos, go ahead and practice this on your own, or just review it and just rewind the video. So let's take a look at this program. So this program actually uses an existing SAS data set to create a new SAS data set containing a subset of the original data set. Don't worry too much about the terminology. As we actually go on through these videos, you will go ahead and catch on to the lingo and keywords used to describe SAS data programs or SAS programs. And let's actually go see how this program actually works. So the sample SAS data program that I have opened up here contains two steps, a data step and a proc step. So you can take a look at that, which is highlighted in blue. So here's your data step, and here's your proc step. Now these two types of steps, alone or combined, as you see here in this program, are pretty much what form SAS programs. A SAS program can consist of a data step or a proc step or a combination of a data step and proc step, which is what we see here. So the function of a data step typically just creates and modifies SAS data sets. They can also be used to produce custom design reports. You can put your data into SAS data sets. You can compute values. You can produce new SAS data sets by subsetting, supersetting, merging, and updating existing data sets, which is what we're doing here in this example. And you can also use it for checking if you have any errors in your data. Then, followed by the data step, you have your proc step. The proc also meaning procedure steps invoke or call pre-written routines, which enables you to analyze and process the data in a SAS data set. The proc step typically presents the data in the form of a report. However, they also sometimes create new SAS data sets that contain the results of the procedure. You can use proc steps to produce descriptive statistics, create a summary report, produce plots and charts, and also create a report that lists the data. Next, now we're just going to take a look at each individual statement of our sample program here. And also note, remember that SAS programs consist of SAS statements. And SAS statements have two very important characteristics. They usually begin with the SAS keyword, which are highlighted in blue by default. And if you notice, each statement ends with a semicolon. So let's go ahead and note where a data statement is. If you take a look at the first line of syntax, you will find your data statement, followed by a set statement. Your where statement, this is more of just additional programming statements that we will get into later on in the videos. Then you have your run statement, a proc print statement, followed by another run statement. I would like to mention now in regards to the layout for SAS programs that SAS statements are free format, which typically just mean that they can begin and end anywhere on a line. So if I wanted to just tab over or just give it a space, it can begin here and it'll still run normally. Also, one statement can continue over several lines. So I can go ahead and type that in. It'll run normally. And several statements can actually just be on one line as well. So let's just go ahead and take the reciprocal of what we just did. And we can have multiple statements on one single line. Now, blanks or special characters separate words in a SAS statement. You can specify SAS statements in uppercase or lowercase. However, in most situations when the text is inside quotation marks, it is case sensitive. So when you submit a SAS program, SAS begins reading the statements and pretty much checking to see if you have any errors in your lines of syntax, which we will go ahead and run it in just a few minutes. And then you have your data and proc statements, which signal the beginning of a new step. The run statement, as you see here, we have two run statements in our sample program. For most procedures and the data step, as well as the quit statement, which you will use sometimes, mark step boundaries. So that marks the end of a specific data step or procedure step. And also the beginning of a new step, data or proc, also implies the end of a previous step. So as you can see, the run statement created a boundary here. So though the run statement is not always required between steps in a SAS program, I recommend using it just because it makes it a lot easier to troubleshoot when there is an error. And definitely when it comes to debugging, it just makes things a lot easier, and it makes the SAS log, which I will speak about in just a few, a lot easier to interpret. So let's go ahead and take a look at our log dialog box. Each time a step is executed in our SAS program, so every time, boom, it runs through each statement, SAS generates a log of the processing activities and the results of the processing. So this is the moment in which SAS can tell you if there's an error in your syntax, and it'll tell you also what line it encountered the error. So when SAS processes our sample program, we'll see the log message shown below, and then we'll also notice that you get separate sets of messages for each step in the program. So let's go ahead and run it. I usually like clearing out the log window just to make it a lot easier. So I just go ahead and left click on new, and then I'm going to go ahead and highlight. To run your program, you can either just go to the little running man and just submit, or you can just click F8, which will also run it for you. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at our log dialog box first. So as you can see, it ran each statement that we had in our editor box. And as you can see, it notes there were 10 observations read from the data set SAS user.admit where the age was greater than 39 years old. And let's go ahead and go over the results of it. So the data step output. Let's just suppose that we submitted the program, the top part of just this program here. Just go ahead and run it. So when the program is processed, it actually creates a new SAS data set, which is the SAS user.admit2, containing only those observations with the age values greater than 39. The data step creates a new data set and produces messages in the SAS log, but it doesn't create a report or other report because we didn't highlight the proc print step. But if you want to just take a look to see where it created, we can take a look at it here. As you can see, all ages are greater than 39. And this is the listing output. It did not create an HTML output because we did not give it a proc print statement. So once again, if we take a look at everything when it's highlighted, let's go ahead and run. There we go. Now we have our HTML output. And as you can see, it's the same information as our listing output, but now just in HTML format. So sometimes SAS programs often invoke procedures that create output in the form of a report, which we see in our top half of the syntax here. If you are running, just go ahead and pause this video and go ahead and jot down and type in this syntax. So let's go ahead and highlight that portion and just run it. So you can see here down in the results viewer in the HTML output, it created a results tab using the proc tabulate procedure. Also, other SAS programs perform tasks such as sorting and managing data, which have no visible results except for messages in the log. And we'll go ahead and take a look at that in our second half of this syntax, which is proc copy. In this statement, we're copying a file that's inside the SAS user and outputting it to our work library, which is just a temporary library through each SAS session, which deletes once you close out your SAS session. And this is the file or the data set that it's going to go ahead and copy that's inside the SAS user library. So let's go ahead and try that out. Left click, and as you can see, it worked out. So it was copying from the SAS user library. So this denotes the library that it's in, and this is the actual file that's inside this library. And it transferred over to your work library, which is only a temporary library. And as you can see, you have the admit file that was just transferred over. There was 21 observations read from the data set SAS user.admit. If you're wondering what happened to with only 10 observations, you have to remember that last time we gave it a syntax that said with ages over 39. Here we actually wanted to take the whole file and transfer it over. Now this is the end of the first part of this video. I apologize for this one being just a little bit long, but I do want to note also that these videos are going to be broken down into sections, and each video will just lead up to the end of either chapter 1, 2, 3, and so forth. So I will go ahead and continue on with the following video.